A divorce out. An injury out. What could be worse right now in 2022? What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown. And if you're new here, welcome. Do you realize how freaking big of a game the Falcons are about to have? I do realize that, like, after this game, there are some big games as well, like the 49ers game and the Bengals game. Yeah, I get it. But, like, not only are we facing Tom Brady yet again, but this is also not only a divisional game, we are literally tied for first place in the NFC South. And I know we got to play them twice, but gosh, man, like, do you realize how big of a win this would be for the Falcons to not just beat Tom Brady for the first time and get a confidence boost and all that, but this would be huge for the playoffs, just having that divisional win versus the Buccaneers, who we're all expecting to at least probably win the division. But if we beat them here, this could get really interesting as far as the divisional standings go for the Falcons, and maybe even where we could seed in the playoffs if we win this game. There's just so freaking much to talk about. And while the Falcons are probably playing like the better team, we also have to prove that we are the better team. And we are about to do that in Tampa Bay. Oh my gosh, there's so much to freaking talk about. So let's get straight into it. So we're going to start with key losses and additions, and there is a lot. You know, every other video was kind of like, you know, maybe one or two things we had to go over for each team. This one, there's a lot. I'll start with the, I guess, positives for the Bucs coming in is that Julio Jones and Russell Gage are actually coming back. Revenge games for them. And also revenge games for us for, betraying us, I guess, in some sort. I personally don't really care when a player joins a rival, honestly, but every other fan seems to care. So I guess it's like a revenge game for Falcons fans if they seem to, for the Falcons players if they seem to care. But yeah, you get the idea. Like they're coming in, and then Tom Brady is having some sort of injury, and I'm not going to go over the personal divorce marriage thing going on, but all I'm going to say is, like, the injury and the whole personal thing going on, maybe it could affect how Tom Brady plays. I don't know. And then Cole Beasley retired, and he was, like, a pretty good receiver, honestly. And then for the Falcons, Kyle Pitts and Cordero Patterson are gone. Literally our two biggest playmakers on offense. Except maybe Chris Lindstrom. People kind of sleep on him. But, like, receiving-wise and running-wise, like, yeah, this is a problem. We kind of needed them. And then Caleb Huntley is signed. Anthony Rush is actually released. That was a surprise. And I can't believe I'm doing this, but I, for the first time, am hyping up Isaiah Oliver returning. I never hype up Isaiah Oliver. You guys know that. But for once, I'm hyping it up because, like, he had time to recover and he looked good last year. Maybe he could do some nice things. So there's a lot of stuff. I know I keep saying this, but there's just so many things to talk about. So what are some possible things to watch out for from this Buccaneers squad? Well, especially if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you gotta watch out for Tom Brady and the passing game. Everyone knows that Tom Brady just is kind of the owner of the Atlanta Falcons right now, and he still is playing pretty good despite everything that's going on. And we also just talked about Russell Gage and Julio Jones coming back. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are still there. The Buccaneers offensive line has been good. And another reason this passing game could break out is because the Falcons pass rush has been a joke. I mean, they just released Anthony Rush, so I don't know how that's going to help us. And then, you know, like, the Falcons have only had 8 sacks in the year, and I think they only had like a 26.8% pressure rate. So we just haven't been good there. The Buccaneers passing game could obviously be a huge problem for us. And then the other thing to watch out for is the Buccaneers do have an all-around great defense. They currently stand in the top 8 statistically according to PFF as a defense as a whole. So yeah, this team is just honestly really good. and they have a home field advantage going for them. So it's really just straightforward. Like the team and where they play, it's just kind of straightforward. The Falcons just need to watch around the whole entire squad as a whole, because it's a great team. But they're not a perfect team. So what are some possible breakouts for the Falcons? So I know I talked about how the passing game could be a breakout for the Buccaneers, but it also might not be, considering how great our secondary has played. The Falcons secondary could break out here. Richie Grant, not too long ago, had his first career interception, and he's been very good for us. And Isaiah Oliver coming back could be huge. I mean, they don't have film on him, so maybe they didn't prepare. And he played well the last time he was here, so that is huge. But obviously, the biggest thing to talk about is AJ Terrell is back. He is back to being who he was last year. And, throughout the last 2 weeks, AJ Terrell had only got 7 receptions allowed, 3 passes defended, and he has a 54.8 rate. So that is just like, wow, holy crap. And here is the greatest thing to mention. Every top receiver, and keep in mind, these 2 receivers that I'm about to mention that AJ Terrell played against the last 2 weeks, these are not only the team's number one, true number one wide receiver. It's not like, you had to play the Texans, but, they don't really have a real wide receiver number one. No, DK Metcalf for the Seahawks and Amari Cooper for the Browns, those were legitimate number one wide receivers. DK Metcalf versus the Falcons and AJ Terrell only had 5 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown. So that's still solid. But then the week after, versus Detroit, he got 7 receptions and 149 yards and somehow no touchdown. But that is a crazy huge difference. And then Amari Cooper versus the Steelers defense, of all defenses, he got 7 receptions for 101 yards and a touchdown. But versus AJ Terrell, where'd he go? I don't know, because he only got 1 reception for 9 yards. So, wow. Yeah, AJ Terrell could lock down these receivers, whoever he's lined up against. He's probably going to be lined up against, Mike Evans or something. But, this secondary could actually give Tom Brady a bit of a test. And also, not to mention that Tom Brady is playing injured and with this personal thing going on. So I don't know if that's going to affect him. We'll see. And then the other thing to watch out for, obviously, the run game. Duh. I know Cordell Patterson's out, but we already got a glimpse of what the running game looks like without him. Caleb Huntley and Tyler Algier, they had excellent games versus the Browns. And the Buccaneers' run defense last week led up 189 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. They really just, their defense has been good, but as far as run defense, they really haven't been all that great. So, yeah, and Arthur Smith he knows how to run the football. So this could be a dominant run game. I'm not going to speak more of it because you guys already know. What are some keys to victory? So, I'm not expecting Marcus Mariota, especially with Kyle Pitts out. I'm not expecting Marcus Mariota to have this great game, so I'm not going to say get the passing game going because I just don't think it will. I don't think the passing game is going to get going, especially against this Bucs secondary. So what do I think we need to do? Run the damn ball. That worked last time, why not do it again? And the Buccaneers' run defense is probably their biggest weakness on their defense anyway. So the Buccaneers' biggest weakness being run defense and the Falcons' biggest strength on offense being the running game, why not try it out? Get Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley going with this powerful, according to PFF, top 10 offensive line for the Falcons and just run the ball over Tampa Bay. The other one is, of course, lock down Brady and his receivers. The secondary could do that here, and Brady is playing injured. And bring in pressure. I know the pass rush isn't very good, but you got to bring in pressure, especially when Tom Brady is injured like this. So it is very possible, and I think an upset could happen. Weirdly enough, I'm actually predicting an upset. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Other than that, I'll see you guys with a video this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate y'all for the support, and as always, rise up.